Happy Thursday morning. It is August 24th. I'm Jaime Greene, the Solar Queen, and I am live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. And in this video or live stream, I wanted to come on and talk about and make a video about energy resilience and independence, especially in light of what happened in Maui. I got my Maui Strong shirt. My family and I, we were actually in Maui during the fires when the fires broke out. Thankfully, we were not on that side of the island when the fires broke out, but we couldn't get back to our villa, and so we kind of had to leave. We had to get off the island and get somewhere safe, and be able to figure out what we're going to do. Hello, Brian, watching on LinkedIn. Maui Strong. There are a lot. If you have ever been to Maui and you understand the wonder and the beautifulness and just the magic that happens, or the everything that you feel when you're in Maui, that is, I love Maui. So I'm uh, surprisingly emotionally connected and affected by everything that's happening there. So if anybody is looking to contribute to help Maui, there are 3 charities that you can donate to that will help people of Maui, specifically Lahaina. And that is the Maui Strong Foundation. So this was there was a music, benefit concert, and they raised almost $100,000. So it's all going to Maui Strong. So the Maui Strong Foundation, the Maui Food Bank, and then also the Maui the Humane Society. There are a lot of animals that have been displaced and they're overwhelmed. So those three charities, I would say, are solid that you could donate money to. Money is probably the one thing that's the quickest way for them to deploy and get actual things to. So I actually went to Maui last week or earlier this week, Sunday. So I'll just tell a quick story. We were there during the fires. We left, and went to Honolulu the night of the fires when we realized we couldn't get back to our villa. And so we parked the car at the airport. I booked 5 round trip inner island tickets from Maui to Oahu. Got a Courtyard by Marriott in Waikiki, which was great in that it was central to everything. So we literally left the island with the clothes on our back. It was kind of crazy and very surreal. We took off. We got to Honolulu. I had to figure out what we were going to do and how we were going to get home. And when we saw how horrific the fires were, we knew we needed to just go home. So we kind of abandoned our things at the villa. We flew home on Friday, so 8, 9, 10, the 11th of August, and got back, and we're trying to figure out what to do after that. So we were in communication with the resort and about our things in our villa, and they said that everything was packed up and ready to ship out. It would just take a few weeks. Something came up and made us go, oh, we should probably go over and get it. So on Sunday this week, I flew to Maui. My friend Dennis and his wife Terry hosted me for a night, and they helped me get all of our villa things. So when I got to the villa, which was at the Westin, our matter of fact, our villa was not packed up. They mistaken our villa for one floor below us. And so that villa was packed up. But had we just trusted and went with it, we would have gotten someone else's belongings. And my husband keeps joking, well, maybe that would have been better. Maybe it would have been better stuff than our own, but it's nothing like your stuff. So I'm talking my laptop, cell phones, iPads, things like that. So I needed to fly back and get things. So we got there. I packed everything up in our villa, and our friends were there too, and they had to leave everything. So the resort authorized me to take their things back. So I flew back from Maui on Monday. So I went there Sunday, packed everything up, flew back on Monday. And President Biden's plane, I watched it land in Maui. So I've got some little pictures of that. He was there to visit and see everything. But my good friends Dennis and Terry, they were amazing hosts. They live in Kaanapali and thankfully weren't greatly affected by the fires, but they were. And they had no power, no water. Their internet is still down, no cable, like things like that. And they live just up the hill from where we were staying. So thankfully, no fire. Well, there was a 2-acre fire right kind of about, I don't know, half a mile from their house, so that was kind of scary. But they helped me get six full six suitcases and 2 carry-on backpacks with all the electronics from 2 villas, because our friends were there, and I brought their stuff back, and I flew home late Monday night, and I was again grateful that everything was there, and grateful that I could go back and pack up our villa, because they had thought we were in 6554, but we were actually in 6654. And while I was there, I bought this Maui Strong shirt. So keep praying for Maui. Keep praying that, it's just such a sad, devastating situation that happened there. I know it's wild. And, I just, it got me thinking about, there is a huge community solar farm, or solar field farm up on Lahaina's, up above Lahaina Luna, which is where there's one part of Lahaina that survived the fire, and then a handful of homes within Lahaina, and a couple of churches and some businesses and whatnot. So, I mean, I had to drive through the burn site, which is the entire town of Lahaina, which still blows everyone's minds. But the solar field was, not in the fire's way. It didn't get all the way up there to Lahaina Luna up there. And if you've been there, there's an L for Lahaina, up in the mountainside and everything, but had to drive through it. And our friends, Dennis and Terry, they do have solar on their homes, as do a lot of homes in Kaanapali, Kapalua, Napili, a lot of solar in Hawaii, because energy in Hawaii is so expensive, and it's all the time expensive. It's not like peak and off peak time of day, and super off peak and all these things. And the other thing that with Maui, or in Hawaii in general, is there is no net metering. So when you go solar, if you don't have that battery to put it into, one can't capture the excess energy that was generated by the solar. But in the event of a power outage, even this is something for people that, are looking at solar. If you don't have a backup battery, because there's different kinds of batteries on the market. If you don't have a battery that is able to provide backup power to you in the event of a power outage, and what happened in Lahaina is unfortunately, a perfect example of why you would want solar and a battery for your home. I mean, solar and a battery is going to still beat the utility company and the rates that they charge Hawaiians. And California is not that far behind. So, and California here, we had a tropical storm, Hurricane Hillary hit last week. And for some parts of the state, it was quite extreme. There was a 5.1, I think it was 5.1 earthquake that was in Ojai the same day. Ojai is just up the street from Ventura. It's up in the mountainside. And there are some wildfires burning in California and in Washington and Oregon and Greece and Spain. And Canada. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy to me to think that this is all that's happening. And so one of the things that I asked our friends, my friends, Dennis and Terry, well, Dennis in particular, I said, what would you have, like, how would you have planned to do things differently for your energy? Because they have solar already. They don't have a battery. He's like, I think I'm going to consider getting batteries added to our solar system so that they then have backup power in the event of a power outage. So this is something that's called, firstly, you have energy independence, greater energy independence with solar, but then you also have energy resilience when you have solar and a battery. And everyone in California going forward with solar under NEM 3.0 truly do you need a battery. There's different batteries that are being offered on, on the in the marketplace, and that is just a self consumption battery, which is for the installers I'm using. It's about half the price of a full battery, full backup, and self consumption battery, like say a Tesla Powerwall. But there are batteries that you can do just self consumption, and that's it. So if the power goes out, even though you have a battery and if it's a self-consumption battery, you don't have backup power. So your solar system and your battery shut down with the grid. There are batteries that are only backup, no self-consumption. So there's, your solar system's generating for you and your battery is not being used for self-consumption, but it's only there for you in case you have a power outage. Much like in Lahaina, much like in other all of West Maui, for instance. If there's a power shutoff due to a fire local to you and the utility company shuts your power off, you have solar being generated during the day only for your essential loads and then backup power once the sun goes down. So that's the backup mode for a battery. So you don't have it for self-consumption on a day-to-day basis. And then there's those batteries that are the full battery, if you will, and you're going to pay much more for the batteries that provide self-consumption and backup, such as the Tesla Powerwall, such as I believe Enphase and SolarEdge. All the batteries can be programmed. There's different equipment and things like that to make these the SolarEdge battery be self-consumption and backup. You have to have a backup interface for those batteries. But you're going to pay I don't want to say a premium, but you're going to pay full price for those backup batteries that also provide self-consumption. And I speak a lot to the Tesla Powerwall because it's the battery that I actually have. And so I can speak with intelligence and confidence in how the battery works. But you will gain energy resilience when you have solar and a backup battery. And for some people in California who use a lot of energy after the sun goes down or during peak time of day, you may need multiple batteries to be able to provide energy for you that your solar system generated during the day, to provide you energy from your batteries to carry you through those peak time of day, and then when the sun goes down. Because that is how it is now in California under NEM 3.0. Whatever your solar and your battery is not producing, whatever your solar and your battery combined is not providing for you when the sun goes down, you are buying from the grid. So for anyone in California watching this considering solar, which people are still considering solar because rates are going up, it's the hot time of the year, so people are running their air conditioning. It's, what used to be kind of common were like the $200 utility bills. Now they're turning into $400 and $500 monthly utility bills. And, over time, that's what it's gotten to. I'm seeing some $600 utility bills, and that's on a monthly basis. And so solar and batteries still make a ton of sense financially, especially with the federal tax credit. So if that's available to you. That being said, if you are looking into solar, some people that I've talked to recently have asked, Jaime, should I even get solar? Should I get a battery? Should I just get solar? When your home demands energy, like I can watch on my app how much demand my house has, how much my solar is generating for me, how much of the excess solar is going into my backup battery, and how much is going to the grid. And then I can also see what the demand of my house is if I don't have solar generating for me, and my battery is no longer providing backup or energy for self-consumption. I can see how much I'm pulling from the grid. So every single month in under NEM 3.0 now, if you ever at any point in time your home demands energy that your battery can't produce or provide for you, and solar's not providing for you, you are buying it from the grid, and you will pay the utility company for that energy on a monthly basis. So you will still have what we call a true up on a month-to-month basis. And this is, we won't see what these look like until NEM 3.0 interconnections start rolling out. And it's really, really crucial that if you get it, when you have a solar consultation, you are gathering data from your home. And the best way to do that is to go online to your utility company, their website, go to energy usage, and this is going to provide you with a couple of things you're going to go after. You're going to download 3 things. So be prepared and know your data so you know when you're using energy. You're going to download the most recent utility bill. That's really important to do. And then you're going to download green button data. And the green button data, you're going to want to download the last 12 months at minimum. Monthly consumption, because we need to know how much energy you typically use in a year. And then you're going to go and download green button data, and it's going to be a date from to a date to. So go back a year and put in, today's August 24th. So you could go back to August 24th, 2022 and download it to August 23rd, 2023 in this example, and it's going to download the hourly interval data. And some utility companies even go down to the 15-minute interval data. Someone did, a PG&E customer sent me PG&E data, and it was 15-minute intervals. And so that is important for NEM 3.0 because it's our smart meters are going to be going back, importing and exporting on 15-minute intervals. So the utility companies, if your solar is not generating enough power for your demand, and your battery is not, solar and battery together are not meeting your demand, and you're importing power from the utility company is going to timestamp that, and they're going to be like, oh, okay, Jaime didn't have enough solar and battery to meet the demand for their home for 15 minutes at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So there's 15 minutes. There's a charge for that. It's going to be, whatever the kilowatt hour demand was, they're not demand charges. They're just going to be kilowatt hour. When I use demand, I mean your house's demand. Because in some utilities, there are demand charges on top of generation, transmission, distribution charges. Places like SRP in Arizona, there's demand charges. And a lot of businesses have demand charges on top of generation, transmission, distribution for most utility companies. So I want to give you guys an example of our house right now. The solar is generating 2.2 kilowatt hours. My house is demanding a half a kilowatt hour. My power wall is 88% charged. And so the solar is meeting the demand of my house right here. And then it's sending the excess to my power wall. So that's good because later on, when everyone's home in the evening and the solar production drops down, and the solar production is going to get larger and larger as the day goes by because it's only 10 a.m. So it's going to go up, and I can even show you what that looks like when it comes to the energy. So you can see the solar production. You can see my reflection too. You can see the solar production. It picks up in the morning and it starts generating. It's going to make a bell curve and go from there. So so you should always know when you have solar and a battery, you should be able to see your house's demand, the solar production, how much is in your battery, and how much your battery is using. Remarkable, then for professional. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but thank you for watching and commenting. Abdul, maybe you can retype it and see if you have any questions, or I can comment back to your comment. So this is this is NEM 3.0 in California now these days. And Hawaii has been like this, going back to the Hawaii connection. It's been like this for 7 years now that they've done away with the net metering. And if you fly into Maui, into Kahului, sorry, as you approach, there is a massive, I don't even know how many gigawatts of solar that's going in to Maui. They've taken out the sugarcane fields, sadly, but it's good because they used to burn the sugarcane stalks and all that. So it was a lot of pollution there. But I believe it was in September where there was a state mandate to shut down coal burning energy facilities. So now they're burning diesel and rates have gone up. And so they're trying to get this huge solar farm up, installed, and interconnected and running. Samuel Sneed, thank you for being the solar value, bringing the solar value on your channel. You're welcome. Thanks for watching. And I hope this is helpful. So if you guys have questions about energy resiliency or sizing a system properly and how many batteries you need, you can ask questions here. If you're a homeowner and you are wanting solar for your home, you can go to my website too, and you can set up a solar consultation with me. It's happening a lot more frequently now. I think there was a bit of a lull, like kind of hanging out and seeing what's happening with NEM 3.0. But this is more and more people are needing this for the energy resiliency, energy independence, and saving. You have to think of solar when you get solar, and you're redirecting where your money's going for your energy. So it can continue to go to the utility company, or it can go into your home, into the value of your home may increase because you have solar, but most people are not looking at it for increased value of their home. What they're looking to do is save money on cash flow, or not cash flow, monthly output of expenses. And if you haven't noticed, gas continues to climb. Groceries are more expensive than they've ever been. It's wild. Hi, Casey. Love you too. Thanks for watching. Yep. Home and safe. Oh, and we got a dog. So he is right here. If you hear a sneeze, he's got kennel cough. We just adopted him Saturday. So we got him Saturday, and then I flew out Sunday to Maui to get our stuff, to retrieve our things. But he is a big, beautiful golden retriever, and he is so, so, so sweet. He's a big boy. So yeah. So anyways, he keeps me company. Samuel, yes, I am focusing on serving North Georgia area, and we have a lot of trees. I like the idea of a Tesla Powerwall too. Yeah, Tesla, love or hate Elon Musk. Tesla Powerwalls, and people will poo-poo on the Powerwalls, but they poo-poo on them if they have something called a thermal runaway event, and that's if the Powerwall's punctured or something like that. There's a thermal runaway just based on the chemical makeup. So, but the likelihood of the Powerwalls being punctured is hopefully slim to none. So that being said, there are other batteries on the market that, like Enphase, Solar Edge. I know Franklin Whole Home is another battery that I'm seeing pop up in the market, and I know the sales director there. He's a great guy, Justin Hopkins, and his battery. I think one of my installers in Northern California can install them. I have another friend and acquaintance in the industry who has Stores Power, and that's another very smart battery. So there's lots of batteries on the market. Fortress is another battery on the market. They're just not on the West Coast. They're only on the East Coast. So batteries provide, again, backup power if you have a backup battery that has that functionality. And when you have both backup and self-consumption, like the Tesla Powerwall, you can control it and you can designate like how much of the battery storage you're going to use for self-consumption and how much you're going to leave for a backup mode. We actually, the other day, it was hot. We blew our main breaker. We didn't know that we had done that. It was the first time we had done that since having solar, EV, and battery and all that. But when the power went out, I went out. I first thing I did was text my neighbor to the right, text my neighbor to the left, and say, "Hey, did you lose power?" And they're like, "No," because I got a notification on my Tesla app saying the power was out and I was on backup battery mode. And I was like, "Oh, what?" It was in the middle of the day. What happened was that we were running AC and we were charging the car. And then my husband, I think, turned on the microwave and it popped the main breaker. So because we have a 100 amp service panel for our home, so it did what it was supposed to do. But that's just, again, energy resiliency. We were basically self-sufficient in that moment. And then when we went and troubleshooted and diagnosed everything, we realized it was the main, and we overloaded the main panel. And we learned, do not charge and run AC at the same time. I think people are realizing owning a Tesla car, they can charge it at home with solar for local driving, not across the country yet. Well, I do own a Tesla. I have a Model Y, and yeah, I charge it with my solar, and I charge it during the day. In fact, I probably should charge it because it's at about 54%, charged. But I have driven up and down the state of California, and the really cool thing with Tesla and their supercharging stations is when you put an address. Say I'm driving. This is a real example. I drove to Ventura a little over a year ago, and I put in the Ventura, the hotel I was staying at, and it tells me where to stop to recharge. And so they map out the charging stations and everything. And the great thing about charging stations is they're usually perfect timing for a potty break or a Starbucks break or getting something to eat. And by the time you're done with all that, you're pretty much charged up and ready to go. So their charging network is pretty fantastic across America. So if you do drive an EV, a hybrid, you really should consider making sure you have enough solar on your rooftop to charge for day-to-day driving. So it's a very common thing that comes up, especially here in California, because the governor has made it very clear that by 2035, every new car sold needs to be electric. More and more car manufacturers are coming out with EVs and hybrid options. So these are all things that are conversations that we have to have and to understand when we're designing a solar system for your home. And one of the things that I am noticing, wow, 100 amps, I thought you had to be at least 150 to go solar. No, it all depends on the amount of backfeed you have available. And my solar systems, believe it or not, are not very big, or they're very small in size. They're about 5 kilowatts of solar combined, a little less than that actually. So we don't use a lot of power, believe it or not. But with the solar and the Tesla Powerwall, the Tesla Powerwall was actually able to keep us from having to upgrade the main service panel, which would have been at least $10,000 because it's underground. But in some cases, some of these battery gateways can be used as a main panel avoidance and act like 200 amp service panels. But when we were drawing all that power, the main service breaker did do its job. So it's not completely eliminated from the scene. And I'm not an electrician, but I've talked to a lot of the electricians that install these things. And so there's times when you can avoid that. I do have a homeowner that has a 200 amp service panel with a 200 amp bus bar that's getting 3 power walls. They do have to upgrade, derate, and relocate. So there's things happening on that side where they do have to do this, but they're very insistent on wanting to have 3 power walls for energy resiliency because we are prone to wildfires here in California. And one of the things that Lahaina could have done, Maui Fire Department, probably could have done differently. Not Maui Fire Department, sorry, Hawaiian Pacific Electric. One of the things that they could have done differently, and I'm sure they're going to do this in the future whenever there's a wildfire on any of the islands, is to cut the power. They did not cut the power. They didn't cut the power. So as inconvenient as it is living in the state of California with the utility companies doing these public safety power shutoffs, there is a purpose and reason behind it. And we never know how long power outages are going to last in the event of a wildfire, which is, again, the benefit of having solar with a full battery for self-consumption and backup. Okay, that's good news. We just did a 7.5 kilowatt system and built in an MPU, but it wasn't needed. Yeah, it's all having to do with the type of inverter, the system size, and the available backfeed in your electrical panel. And there is some training out there for you that you can check out. Feel free to send me a message either on Facebook or LinkedIn later on, and I can point you in the right direction for that training, especially if you're helping people go solar. So yeah. So that being said, energy resiliency really supremely comes when you have solar and a battery. And one of the things I'm noticing with NEM 3.0 for Californians and putting together solar proposals, I've put a lot of solar proposals together in the last week, is and have a couple more appointments today to meet with homeowners and talk to them about their solar for their home and whether or not they should do it, whether or not they should lease or buy. And that's a whole nother live stream and video to talk about leasing versus buying and everything. But with NEM 3.0, being that there is net billing happening on a monthly basis, one of the things that I am also interested in doing, and not only is offsetting the energy usage with solar and batteries, I am fine, like, going through their energy usage with a fine tooth comb, if you will, and looking at their interval data. Remember, I said you could go and download your interval data with green button data and get 15-minute interval data now, is what I think is happening. It used to be on an hour-to-hour basis. I'm your fan, Jaime, since you're oh, hi, Martha. I started this YouTube channel I think 11 years ago. And I use it for people who are watching. I used to sell, I white labeled or private labeled products and sold on Amazon. And in fact, I'm looking over at this box right here, and I can make t-shirts and mugs. Like, I can make mugs now because I have a print on demand printer. I haven't even taken it out of the box. I need to do that. But just so you know, Martha, the whole FBA journey started with me going, oh, I want to make cute little onesies for kids. This isn't a onesie, but kids, and sell them on Etsy. And how can I do that? And then, so it started with that. And I bought a Cricut. I think I used the Cricut like a couple times. And then I learned about print on demand. And so that's awesome. So thanks for watching. Yeah, I documented the entire FBA journey. They're still there if you want to watch them. But I just decided to just keep the channel and audience and move it to solar. So are you doing the 15-minute intervals to maximize the money the electric company can keep getting? Well, I am not. The utility companies are the ones that are providing the 15-minute interval data, and you can get that. Even on commercial projects, we would need to know 15-minute interval data for demand charges and for the right amount of storage and everything like that. So 15-minute interval data. I'm just, I met with a homeowner and they gave me the green button data, and it was 15-minute intervals. So that is probably going to be a common thing because they're time stamping it every 15 minutes. But going back to fine tooth comb, using a fine tooth comb, I am also very interested in reducing the amount of true up you're going to have for wintertime because our production drops off. In fact, let me see if I can present and share a screen Actually, before I do that, I better open it up because I want to show you guys what I'm talking about when it comes to production. Here, we'll open this up. And the reason for that, the reason that I am interested in doing this is because for anyone still even under NEM 2.0, NEM 2.0 will definitely show you that shows people that who have true ups and nothing changes, that the only variable is rate increases. So if someone has 1,000 kilowatt hour true up every single year, it's still gonna, let's say nothing changes, it's still gonna be 1,000 kilowatt hours. The thing that's changing is the retail rate that the utility company charges for energy. So I think I can share this. I hope I can. Window. Let's see the window, the entire screen. Oh no, let's just do this and see what happens. Oh, I can't do it. Dang it. It's a production curve and consumption. So it's a chart that shows people's consumption on a monthly basis and then the production curve. And it matters. It matters what time of day you're home. It matters your roof orientation. If you're home during the day and you want your solar to produce as much energy for you during the day as well as charge up your battery, we want to flatten the production curve as much as possible. And we do that by placing panels on different roof arrays. So that is one thing that we look at. If you're like, oh, I'm gone during the day and I'm only home during the night, we want to put as many of those solar panels on the west facing roof plane so we can get you as much energy generating for you in real time during peak time of day, or the afternoon sun. So going back to the example, a $1,000 true up will eventually turn into a $1,200 true up, $1,500 true up year after year as rates increase. And that's probably being underestimating true ups, because I know people, I've talked to people who say, well, my true up used to be only 2,000, now it's 3,000, and then it turns into 4,000. So if we can still oversize the system to bring the production for solar up in the wintertime to close the gap between consumption and production, you're going to have a less expensive true up billing in the wintertime. Yes, you're going to overproduce in the spring and in the summertime a little bit. And you're going to get pennies. I'm talking pennies, like 3 cents a kilowatt hour for that excess production that you'll recapture at your annual true up of when you went solar. And and then that goes away, and then it starts over. So it's not like it rolls over, and it's not like you get reimbursed on a monthly basis. It's only once a year event for the reimbursement, and it doesn't go towards your consumption. So it's not, these are some of the bigger differences with NEM 2.0 and NEM 3.0. So I am more interested in analyzing whether or not reducing or increasing solar production to shorten the gap or lessen the gap between consumption and generation in the wintertime, because that over time, if you leave it really big, here's the thing, because when you buy solar, adding a couple more panels is not gonna like hugely make or break you in terms of the overall cost. But if it helps in the long run, your true up, because we're increasing production in the wintertime, it is very much well worth looking at and considering when you're having your solar system designed. And then once that's designed, then we go and look at interval data for peak time of day until 9 a.m. in the morning every month. Like, take sample sizes. That's what we want to do, because it's different in the wintertime. Production starts dropping off earlier in the wintertime than it does in the summer, obviously. And so we need to look at it at a holistic level and then make sure you have enough storage. So that being said, it's much more complex, but I'm trying to simplify it as much as possible for homeowners to understand and digest. If the money is there, wouldn't it make sense to have 2 batteries? Yes, of course. To minimize the bill, I will for sure reach out to learn more. You don't want to get too much storage. I mean, unless people are like, you know what, just give me 2 batteries. Again, Samuel, this is where that interval data and when peak hours start and when the sun rises up again and starts producing energy, you need to consider how many battery. I heard a squeak. I think it was the neighbor's kid or backyard neighbors. I wanted to make sure everyone was okay. You need to make sure you have enough stored power to meet the home's demand when the sun has gone down. So if it's a 10 kilowatt battery capacity and the homeowners are using on average 27 kilowatt hours throughout, that peak time of day until the sun rises again, they need 3 batteries to avoid having net billing, huge net bills. So because then you have a solar bill and you have a utility bill, and you don't want the utility bill to ever be. This is something that happens when people didn't get enough solar. The dog got up and he's checking things out. He's like, "What's going on out there?" Hopefully he doesn't bark. He's not a very big barker, but he's got a loud bark because he's a big dog. You have to consider that. How much energy is a home using? What's the demand of that home when the sun goes down and when the sun comes back, and even on cloudy days? I see. So analyzing that data is, yes, it's very much key for Californians in particular and Hawaiians too. I met a gal in Hawaii at the airport. She's originally from South Africa. Her name was Beth, and friends lost everything in the fire. She was very close to losing everything in the fire. She just actually got solar and batteries installed. It's not turned on yet, but we were just talking about how this is a good thing for her. She did it because she despises the energy company there, but also for the resiliency. So more and more people are going to be going solar, not just because they don't like the utility. We have to still work with the utility company. They're still your partner in solar, but the more you can gain energy independence, gain the energy resiliency, and save money, it's just a win-win for for homeowners who get solar. And so batteries, if anyone meets with you and tells you shouldn't get a battery under NEM 3.0, I would talk to another consultant because you certainly need batteries. Otherwise, you're going to have a massive true-up bill every single month with the utility company, unless you live in California and live in LADWP, SMUD, Healdsburg, Imperial Empire. I think it's Imperial Valley down in Southern California. In fact, I don't know very many people going solar there or Modesto. These municipal utility companies, they still are under NEM 2.0. So, but you still can only typically offset 100% of your energy consumption with solar. And you don't necessarily need a battery yet because you can use the utility company as your battery. So what I'm talking about for California with NEM 3.0 is PG&E, SCE, and SDG&E. Those are the 3 major utility companies that are under the NEM 3.0 policy. So that is all I want to talk about today, is how important it is to have the energy resiliency. This is going to be accomplished with solar and batteries and making sure you get enough batteries. So don't guess. If you're a solar consultant watching this replay, don't guess on how much battery storage your homeowner needs. Do the work. Put in the time to analyze the data and have that honest conversation, transparent conversation with the homeowner about how much storage they would need. Because and then someone asked me yesterday, they said, well, does it even make sense to go solar? And I said, and we looked at the numbers, we looked at the buyback, or like when they break even, and it was like 7 years. It was still 7 years with solar and batteries. And I said, and one of the things that you're doing is you're hedging yourself or protecting yourself from future rate increases. So do I think it makes sense for people in California to still go solar under NEM 3.0? My response is yes, it makes sense. And the sooner the better is better. Because here's the thing, there is a lag time in construction. Some companies are faster than others. Solar installers. Some AHJs, which are your inspectors, your building permits, inspections, are faster than others. Some are better than others. I'm just speaking from experience. um, and some utilities are slower than others to do PTO or to turn on to interconnect the system. So one of the things for all the homeowners who are looking at NEM 3.0 and getting solar installed and batteries is patience is super, super key. And not to make excuses for anybody, but this is usually is a 5-person or 5 partners. There's partners in all of this making things happen. The homeowner and all the data that they provide, the sales consultant, their solar consultant, the solar installer, the authority having jurisdiction, that's what AHJ means, the utility company, so what's that? Homeowner, so sales consultant, installer, AHJ, the utility company, and the finance partner if you have financing. And some financing companies have a limitation of how long your credit is going to last with them. So that's also another thing. But I promise you, people don't want projects going on longer than they have to, but sometimes it does happen. Sometimes there are changes. It's an audible the day of installation where they have to go and change something because what was originally planned cannot be fulfilled. And what that drives then is a redraw of what was actually installed and then resubmitted back to the AHJ to get that permit revised and approved. And then final inspection has to, they come in and sometimes there's a fire inspection. So sometimes there's a 7th partner in this, which is the fire department to make sure it's safe and to fire code and safety purposes. So there's a lot going on here. And I will say, and I'm going to address online reviews. Companies get the one that takes the brunt of everything when it comes to online reviews when people are going solar. So this is if you're reading reviews and considering who to go solar with. It's the solar installer is the one that takes the fall, or they're the ones that get blamed for everything. But you as the homeowner, the consumer, need to understand that there could be up to 7 entities involved in your going solar transition construction project at the end of the day. So take that into consideration. Be extremely patient, especially as these utility companies are still figuring out how they're going to be charging people for import, export of energy, the interval data, the billing. They're even giving themselves a grace period of how they bill people under NEM 3.0. So just be patient. But at the end of the day, when your solar equipment is paid for, your energy, a vast majority of your energy for your home is being provided by through solar and your batteries. So I hope this is really, really helpful. And again, go back if you can, please donate to Maui Strong Foundation, Maui Food Bank, Maui Humane Society are the top three that I would recommend. And that is also what locals are saying on the island are good charities to contribute to, and do whatever you can to help them. And if you're thinking of traveling to Maui in the coming months, it is open. The only part of Maui that is not open is Lahaina town because there literally is nothing there. Parts of Kaanapali where the resorts are, where a lot of employees are, there's people who've lost everything, family members that have lost everything, people that were lost in the fire. Just so much sadness around that. But please, if you're going to South Maui, any other part of Maui other than West Maui, go visit. It's going to be, they need the tourism. They need the support however you can. And that is what I want to give back to Maui and Hawaii, is just my voice sharing this on social media as I talk about energy resiliency. So that's it. Have a great Thursday, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.